and that's a big win for them. So they've had a good year so far. And I got to take my hat off to Coach Braun and his outfit. Every year they seem to get a little bit better, and they lose a few guys, but at the same time they do seem to improve a little bit. So we got our work cut out for us. In looking at their program over the years, it was pretty obvious that they were going to be a good bit better under this guy, and it's gotten to the point now where they're trying to take over some things, and we need to try to see if we can kind of hang on for a little while longer. Mm-hmm. These guys are extremely aggressive on defense and got a great plan on the defensive side. So they're guys you can tell exactly what they're trying to do and how they're trying to do it. And offensively, they've got quarterbacks and wide receivers. Running backs got 1,000 yards already. Tariq Cohen is really a lightning kind of guy, and they've got other people around them that seem to be, kind of coming along in the way. They've got 2 quarterbacks. They got a young freshman kid that looks like he's going to be a real good player, and they got an older kid that's been playing for them. So they got some people in place. It'll be interesting to see if we can play with these guys now.
With the all-time series being 21-1, does that just show, like you said, they must have improved a lot now since they've never won one game against South Carolina State?
But now it's not 21-1, and for the total year, it might be.
That's for against you, when your time here, okay?
I ain't been here 21 years. Well, I guess maybe as an assistant and as a head. Is that right?
12-1.
Is that what it is?
Oh, it's 12-1. We're still 12-1 dominant then.
Yeah. Okay.
So that shows that they must have built up the program recently.
They have, and they beat us up there a couple years ago. And last year, we beat them in Atlanta, but it was a real nip and tuck kind of affair. You can bet that it was not a blowout by any means. So we got our work cut out for us. Yeah, they've got all the parts in place.
How tough is it to prepare for a team that's the program's on the rise like that? I mean, they definitely got things going.
Well, it's tough, but at the same time, they get your attention in a way that you really get we think a good feel for the fact that we have a good hard week's work. Mm-hmm. I don't think you have to worry too much about our guys not paying attention. Right. It'll be that way. I was concerned last week about possibly not being able to get our guys focused in, trying to get ready for that game, thinking about this game. Now we're at the point where we actually got this game, so that should not be an issue at all. We'll see.
How about just the way your guys responded this past week, and they took care of the task at hand?
It was good. I was glad we were able to, get through the Hampton game. Mm-hmm. Had some guys. Tevin Richards just continues to be, kind of special in what he's doing in the special teams game, and Antonio got a big play. You get the touchdown passes from Caleb. He really has shown himself to be, a special young guy, a special young talent. So, those guys seem to really be improving a little bit each week and developing as we, get farther over into the season. This is week 9, believe it or not. I don't know if I could, if I could really think we'd be here at this point especially after maybe, the Bethune game, because it was kind of bleak at that point. But now we've gotten ourselves to the point where we kind of pull ourselves up by bootstraps and we continue to fight. So it's still going to go home though. Even after this fact, if you don't necessarily do what you got to do, at this point, then we then fall out of it. So I got to figure that that we're going to give our best effort somehow or another here.
We talked about it the last few weeks. How much do you really look at it with the special teams and defense and offense? All phases of the game are really playing well right now. Great teams have that. You see that?
Well, that's got to be our deal for sure. Mm-hmm. We need everybody to pitch in. There for a while, we were really concerned about our offensive plan, and then, we started to play a little bit better there. We still got, a little bit of a hitch in our get-up from time to time there that we can't seem to quite kind of figure out. But, we're still developing some guys over there, our wide receivers. We playing Caldwell and Jameson a bunch, and Moody's been kind of in and out and kind of hurt. Daquan West is probably the only guy in the whole mix that's really got any real experience and any size. So, we've suffered a little bit in the fact that we kind of, still trying to get those guys on the same page some. So we get that deal going. Our offensive line is kind of of a work in progress. You know, we got Vic, that's a redshirt sophomore, that's the starting center. You know, redshirt junior, I guess we call it. I guess he's got 3 more years, but he's got 2 more years. And then you get the rest of that offensive line, the Lehmans and the Justin Evans of the world, are the young guys.
Right.
You know, we still got lots of youth mixed in this offense in a way that you know that we still need a little bit of time to grow. So you know, that's been the biggest concern. But we played awfully hard. We played really hard in special teams. You know, our guys are buying into trying to find ways to, you know, make some things happen that way. And then we continue to play good on defense. So we got to play better on defense now. You know, we had a little bit of a lapse, I think, in maybe intensity toward the end of that game this past Saturday. And that was a little bit of a concern. You know, we do want to make sure that doesn't happen again.
Right.
We need to really work our fantasy off to, you know, to make sure that we assignment-wise, I'll kind of have to restrict. I think that might have been as much as bust and that kind of stuff as it was playing hard. But, you know, I think those guys are finding their way back to the point where they can be a respectable group again.
Any better field that you have, and I guess the rest of the coaching staff has with the offense? Just, I know there was some times that the offense sputtered some on Saturday, but you know, Scoop got a lot of yards running the ball, and then there's some miscommunication in passing, but it worked when it needed to work.
Yeah, well, it does. And the one thing that we need to be appreciative of is the fact that we do seem to be able to, you know, get it done when we got to get it done. It'd be fun though to go out and really play well for an entire game in all 3 phases.
Right.
We seem to kind of go for a while, and then somehow or another we kind of let the pedal off the gas or something of that nature. We need to do one of those kind of deals where everybody hits it, you know, for the entire 60 minutes. If that can be, then that'd be a lot of fun to watch.
And with this game being as big as it is now for the season, I guess it'd be nice to have that same crowd come back this week that was here.
Boy, that would be great. I'm hoping that we have a big crowd again this week. We've been, I guess maybe, I don't know what we've been averaging, but, you know, somewhere in the neck of the woods, I imagine around 15,000, 16,000, somewhere in there. That would be, you know, if we could get another 15,000 to 20,000 maybe, that would really push our average up in a way that, you know, would make it a real great atmosphere for the game. And the fact that, you know, that, let's face it, we need the money. You know, we need people to come and see us play. And, you know, that would be, you know, as big a, I guess maybe inspiration for showing why our university invests with the way it does, you know, within our athletics program. So hopefully we can get enough people here Saturday to make this a big, rowdy kind of crowd that can, you know, be a big time kind of atmosphere.
This kind of game deserves that kind of atmosphere.
I think it does. You know, I really do. And, you know, I think the A&T folk need to help us a little bit. If this game was this kind of game and it was in Greensboro, I can bet you that we'd fill that side of A&T Stadium with South Carolina State folks. So I want to challenge the A&T. I want to challenge the Aggies. You know, they always talking about Bulldog, all those kind of mess, bread and all that kind of stuff. You tell them, get their fannies on down here. Let's see what happens on Saturday.
That's right. That's good. I guess you couldn't really ask for anything better than coming off several wins to go into this.
Yeah,
too,
well, that's
so.
you know, it's the best case scenario for us, and the fact that, you know, that we get a chance to continue to play for something. Imagine what it would be like if we had maybe gotten beaten last week or the week before. You know, we would not be in nearly the same state of mind, and I'd be moping around. Everybody else would be looking at me all cross-eyed, all that kind of stuff. So the fact that we still kind of got a shot here, you know, I don't know how good, but it's still a shot for sure. You know, it's something that I think we can all take pride in.
Definitely. And if any of the guys were looking past last week, you got past last week, so now they can be focused on what they focused on the whole time. So.
For sure. That was probably the biggest concern of all, was the fact that we might try to get ourselves kind of caught up in the, you know, what happens in a week or so later, you know, and the fact that, you know, that we've not gotten through that, you know, is really good. So we're happy and looking forward to this weekend.
All right.
Coach, when you look at the player Caleb, it looks like he wants to be in there when times get rough, and he's
and shoot, for sure. This guy's a fighter now, and you know, I have really had about as a tougher time dealing with quarterbacks as you could have here over time. And, you know, we look like we finally caught a break, you know, on a deal where, you know, we got a guy, you know, who's into it, you know, he's a student of the game, you know, he's got some toughness about it. The biggest problem we got with Caleb is the fact that, you know, he's getting beat up a little bit. You know, we start he got hit a couple times early in that game Saturday. You wouldn't believe sometimes how hard these guys get you. And, you know, in a case where he's a freshman, people bring a lot of pressure at him because they think that, you know, that he's not necessarily tough enough and that kind of stuff. And nothing's farther from the truth, but at the same time, we got to do a little bit better job protecting him. Sometimes as coaches, we got to do a bit better job of designing some things where we can move his launch points around a little bit, because if they can find him, you know, then they can get to him and beat him up pretty good. But let's face it, this guy, you know, has really shown himself to be, you know, a good player at this early juncture of his career here. And if he continues to improve and get better each week, there's no telling where we could be by the end of the year.
Your defense had 11 sacks last week, and you see
how many sacks we got now?
As a team. Let's see.
In the mid to high 30s.
Mid to high 30s,
Yes.
Yeah.
But
And what's the next best in our league? Anybody know? And who's got the next best statistical number? Because Hampton had 22 last week and did not get one against us. Now, we got hit a couple times, but we didn't give up a sack. So I'm thinking Hampton might be next, and then A&T and the rest of those guys might be in the mid to high teens, maybe 19 even. So, you know, we got a big lead on people in sacks. And part of the deal is you see our guys rush the passer pretty good and throwing people around, that kind of stuff. I think a lot of times we get sacks because Hargraves is in there, and Hargraves kind of causes a lot of trouble for folks. So what happens is they try to put some extra attention to him, and then the rest of those guys get kind of loose and get a sack or two. So between the linebackers and the defensive ends, the defensive tackles, James Settles, I thought, played really good this past game. We get some guys who really get it. And our guys, you know, our defensive line is not a fat, but let me tell you what, A&T's defensive front, almost the exact same thing. They don't have a hard